Hi, I'm Harry Siemens, and I'm reporting from the Prairie Livestok Expo for the Farm Show. We'll be right back with interviews right after these messages.
Hi, I'm Rick Funk from Funk's Toyota. Our family has been in the automotive business for over 45 years. That's 45 plus years of looking after customers. We have a top worldwide recognized product that we are proud to be a partner with Toyota Canada. Every new and used vehicle is negotiable when it comes to purchasing your vehicle here at Funk's Toyota. Our staff of many years is very knowledgeable and will help you, not force you with your buying decision. There are no hidden fees and no pressure tactics. Not only that, we promise what we deliver and have one of the best used vehicle warranties in the business. Our staff love to serve, and you will feel like family after your first visit. We are not perfect, but we love to please here at Funk's Toyota. For those of you that have experienced our Funk's Toyota family way, please share it with others and like us and share us on Facebook. We are proud to be a sponsor of the Manitoba Amateur Sports. Visit us online at www.funks.toyota.ca.
Welcome back to the Prairie Livestok Expo, and it's been a real privilege to talk to various people involved in the expo itself, whether it's an exhibitor, whether it's the chairman and organizing people. But right now, the sponsor of this particular segment, NetSet Communications, I'm visiting with Donna Sagan. She's the Senior Manager, Customer Care and Loyalty. Hey, welcome to the show, and it's exciting. You know, there's more and more communication that goes on.
There is. It's really exciting to be here today, and really connecting farmers and agribusinesses is definitely what we're about, and connecting rural Manitoba to the rest of the world.
So, I've been involved in communication, but I haven't heard a lot about NetSet. So now we're going to get a chance to tell our viewers all about it. So, what is NetSet?
So NetSet Communications is an internet service provider for rural Manitoba. We're owned by ExploreNet Communications as of 2017, and so we're now across Canada as well. And we're really about focusing on providing a connectivity solution for people living in rural communities, but that still need the same connection and the same speeds that urban dwellers are allowed to have.
So how do you provide it?
So we use towers and wireless signals, wireless microwave signals to project a connection. And so we need line of sight, but we can do speeds up to 1 gig symmetrical. It all just comes down to what you need and what your business needs.
I took a drone pilot's course a year ago, and one of the biggest challenges that farmers face when it comes to the technology, when it comes to drone data, was how do they get it somewhere so that they can actually process it and use it. And I think this is part of that solution.
It really is, because we provide the upload and the download speeds that they can use that data to make better decisions, to make better farming decisions, and make more profitable decisions.
So tell me then, I'm a farmer. I live somewhere between Roland and Sperling or whatever it may be, right? So, yes. So what do I have to then do in order to get the service?
So all you do is call our 24/7 help desk. We are based out of Brandon, Manitoba, and you just call us and we will plot it to make sure that we can actually hit your site, and it's a very quick install and you can be up and running within probably 5 days.
Well, you know, I travel a lot, and I have over the years, and I come down number 1 highway and I can't even get cell service. And a couple of weeks ago I drove through the Coquihalla from Vancouver to Kamloops. I had better phone service during that trip than I do sometimes along number 1 highway. So are there dead spots for you? Can you put it anywhere?
So really, once again, we are from Flin Flon all the way south to the 3 borders. So we actually cover all of Manitoba for the most part, except northern Manitoba. And we need line of sight, but within reason, we can cover pretty much everybody. Trees obviously become a bit of an issue. Some of the topography does as well, but there's ways to eliminate that issue, whether it's adding a tower at your place or putting it up on top of a barn or things like that, just so we can get line of sight. And at that point, we can get you connected.
So, okay, now I want the service. I get a call. So what's it going to cost?
So it really depends on what you're going to use. We have plans that start at $59.95 and we go up to over 1,000 to 2,000, but it really depends on what you're going to use and what you need. And so we customize each offer really for your own personal account, and whether it's a small business or it's an actual dedicated connection.
So does the user need a tower, or how does he get the signal?
So we can use a sat mount, so it's like a satellite mount right on your house. We can add a 10-foot, we can add a 20-foot, or if we actually need to put a tower up, then we work with the customer to figure out what height and how much extra height we'd need to get service.
And a normal router?
A normal router, whatever will work in your house. You bet.
So how long, I mean, I know I've talked to some people that have had, that use the service, and so is there a good uptake in it?
We do. We have over 17,000 customers right here in Manitoba, and then as part of ExploreNet, there's over 300,000 across Canada. So we definitely have a strong footprint in the province, and we've become known for providing rural Manitoba with rural internet and at a good, affordable price.
I use internet all the time, have for years, and service is a key thing, right? I mean, it doesn't decide to go down when it suits me, it goes down when it goes down, right? So what about service?
So we're actually based right in Brandon, Manitoba. We have a 24/7 help desk. So if you have a problem at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. or 2 a.m., you just call us and we'll work through it and we'll troubleshoot with you, and we're based right there. So our people know Manitoba. They know where you're from, they know the locations, and they may actually know some of your friends and neighbors as well.
So when you look at ExploreNet and you look at NetSet, is there a difference?
So we both offer fixed wireless solutions, but then ExploreNet also offers a satellite platform for those really remote locations that don't have any towers in the area to be able to service the fixed wireless. So we actually offer multiple platforms that people can access internet with.
So then you have the service, and it becomes a 24/7, right?
Exactly. It's yours to use as you choose, and whether it's streaming or shopping or you're doing your marketing on it, it can handle anything.
Yeah, that's a key, right? I mean, you talked about it earlier about how farmers really need this kind of service in order to make better and better decisions.
Exactly, and it really opens up the rural areas in rural Manitoba to other businesses that are looking to relocate out of the city or set up another location, because a lot of times connectivity is the challenge going into rural markets, and this way we can actually do it for them and help them provide that solution and help the RMs, help rural Manitoba grow.
So does it matter how many people are on the particular service? Like, I know I used to be on MTS, and the more people, when 4 o'clock came around and school kids came home, everything slowed down, right? I'm now on a service that's directly to me, and it basically is based on how much I use it, right? So how does this work?
So we do put a number of subscribers onto a tower, but as we add more layers, we add more cells, we stretch our spectrum around so that everybody can use it to the way they want to, and so their service and their experience isn't impacted.
Anything you'd like to add to it?
No, we just are really excited to be here today and chatting with you, Harry, and we look forward to talking with you again.
And just one other question then, so why are you at the Prairie Livestok Expo?
At the end of the day, we are here for rural Manitoba, and rural Manitoba is here at the Prairie Livestok Expo, so that's why we're here today.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Donna Sagan with NetSet Communications, and it's always interesting to see how things change. Some things stay the same, but other things keep changing. So NetSet Communications is the sponsor of this particular show, and we appreciate that, and we'll be back with more from the Prairie Livestok Expo. Welcome back to the Farm Show here at the Prairie Livestok Expo, brought to you by NetSet Communications. And wow, there's a lot of activity going on here. I believe 140 exhibitors and producers that are coming by and looking at the various things. I don't think just looking. I don't think this is just tire kicking country. I think we can make some sales and deals. And right now we're visiting with David Stead. Stead Farm Supply, and he tells me, first of all, he tells me that you came to Canada back in the early 80s, right?
Yeah, we came in October of 83. I was a dairyman in Yorkshire, England, and couldn't buy more land over there. It was too expensive, so we came over here with my wife and my daughters and started milking cows, and milked cows till 1994, and then decided to do a little bit of a change and got into the retail side of things.
So did you buy a dairy when you came?
Yes, we did. We bought a dairy and the quota and everything, and lock, stock and barrel, and yeah, we came in October, and in December it was one of the coldest Decembers on record, and that's when I had to get my long johns. It was kind of colder than England for sure, but it was great. The neighbours made us welcome, and it's just been fantastic. They've been good neighbours, and it's a great country, and we're really thankful to be over here for sure.
So who runs that dairy today?
We sold the quarter. We still live on the farm, but we sold the quarter, and now we rent the land out. We have some grain land. We just rent it out because this is a full-time business now, so that's what we look after now. So.
You use the word retail, and I fully understand that. And so you come from milking cows and you go into retail. How come?
Well, the first winter after I quit milking, I was getting bored because I still get up in the morning. So I'd been selling some product we did custom baling, and I was selling some product there. And then these guys, International ISF, they make minerals. So I started going around farms selling minerals, and seemed to work okay. And I thought, guys like to go to town for a coffee and pick up the mail. Maybe I should find somewhere in town, and I came across a really good deal with the buildings we're in now. It was a machinery dealership that Matheson sold, and we had to rent part of the building out to start with. I farmed for 5 years just to keep the business ticking over. My oldest daughter came out of college, and she's managed it ever since, and it just grew and grew. And I said at the beginning, being a livestock farmer, I wouldn't sell anything to anybody. I wouldn't use myself, and I think that's worked. We've built a lot of trust up, and we've got a lot of customers, and we're really, really busy. It's good.
I didn't ask you right at the beginning, but where are you located?
We're in beautiful Boissevain, just 3/4 hour south of Brandon, 12 miles off the border.
I know it well. I used to work with the radio station there.
Okay, yeah.
But at the same time, so what are you selling today? I mean, in order to make this, compare to the income you had as a dairy farmer and stuff, you've got to be selling some really good products.
Yeah, well, right now the busiest thing we're doing is molasses, because there's a shortage of hay, as you know, from last year. So we're treating bales with molasses. I have a guy out today delivering we've been going out every day with the truck, just supplementing the feed because there's a shortage of hay. And like here, I'm promoting Penergetic, which is a product for the pigs. It's an all-natural product. We've got one for the feed conversion, and we've got one for the feed in the slurry, and that's going good. We have a niche market. We're getting more and more into organics, and we're still conventional, still our biggest income, but we do look after the organic guys. Like, we're one of the few people now that's selling kelp in Manitoba. I've shipped minerals up to the Yukon for a lady with horses. Cost her a fortune, but that's what she wanted. But and like organic salt, we had a Hutterite colony that had trouble with tail biting, and they cured it they bought about what would there be, about four lifts of organic salt, and they fed it to the pigs, and it seemed to cure the tail biting. So there's a need for that, and it'll also blend with conventional farming. So that's kind of what we do.
Getting back to the hay shortage, the quality hay shortage, how big a problem is it really?
Well, the biggest problem is it's not that there's no hay out there, it's just a problem they can't afford to buy it because it's a ridiculous price. So farmers are treating straw. If you put molasses, like if you feed cows straw and they eat it, they can compact and die. If you put molasses on it, it keeps it going in the rumen, and it also increases the protein. My son-in-law built me a machine to put it on from the truck. I have a truck on hydraulics, and I can drive from bale to bale without getting out of my cab and put 20 litres or whatever on that bale. And so the guys line it up, and then depending on how cold it is and how dense the bales are, at 15 minutes, half an hour, it starts to drip through. You tip it on its side and it stays in there. So that's what we've been busy with.
So you treat the entire bale?
Well, it soaks through. You put it on top and then it soaks in. And as I say, it'll start to drip through. The farmer flips it over and then treats the whole bale, yeah.
So when you start with a new product and you say you have a product here for pigs, obviously you've got to get people to use it, you got to get people to show that it works, and you got to get people to pay for it.
Well, yeah, and it's hard because there's so many things out there, and I'm not a high-pressure salesman, but there's a colony that were having problems with the pigs, and I sat down with the big guy, and I gave him a deal. I said, look, you've got to do a trial. It's got to be 90 days. You give him 140 grams per ton. I worked it out. It was going to cost him about $4 a ton. And he just phoned me the other day and he said, Dave, he said, I got to tell you, he said, we've just been slaughtering some of these pigs. The lungs just look like pure lungs. He said, the intestines, and he said, the death rate's down. He said, they just look so content. And that's what I'd like to know. And so now I can pass that on to people here. I can say, you give Saul a call. He'll explain how it's working. And it's same with the manure too. I mean, the slurry, when you treat it, it makes the phosphorus more available. And high phosphorus is a problem on land now. They're having to need more and more acres because of the high phosphorus. Well, this product will use the phosphorus up so they don't need as much land to spread the manure on.
So what's next for Stead Farm Supplies?
Well, my wife said it should be retirement. So I don't know. My daughter's still there. It's an exciting job and there's always something new. And I just love meeting people. That's the one thing I missed when I was milking cows in there. I like cows, but they don't talk back to you like people do. I don't know. Harry, it just seems to take over and take over. I'd like to slow down. I'm at an age where I'd like to slow down a bit, but I still love doing what I'm doing now. I've got a grandson that comes after school and works at the store, and so I'd like to keep it in the family and keep it going, but if that doesn't happen, then we'll just sell the business eventually, I guess.
So do you have a retail storefront in Boissevain?
Oh yes, it used to be Matheson. Well, it was Atkinson Implements, and Matheson's bought Atkinson's out, and he didn't want somebody to buy that place and sell machinery, and I just have no interest in selling machinery. So he gave me a good deal on the building. So we have a building, just right on the highway, just north of Boissevain, yeah. And we've actually, mostly thanks to my wife, it's now a farm supply country store. We sell a lot of products, like a lot of natural products for people. We sell natural soaps. So we get all the people out of town in there, and we even sell fireworks now, would you believe? So it's just amazing what's out there you can sell, yeah.
Great, really nice. David, anything you want to add?
Just a little story. I don't know if you knew Bill Turner used to be on the radio in Brandon.
Yep.
He came to a show we were doing in Boissevain, and we have a product that changes the water, and we got some little platelets. And I told Bill, because he makes wine, I said, take this, go home, I said, and put a glass of wine on there and one on there. I said, and see the difference. And on the Monday morning, he talked on the radio, and he said, David, I saw a difference. And I ended up doing 2 shows on his show about natural products from that, so that was kind of neat.
Great. Yeah. Thank you very much. Visiting with David Stead of Boissevain, Manitoba, Stead Farm Supply, and you can obviously, driving down the highway, you can see the store, and as he said, his wife has been instrumental in making sure that they sell more than just what we've talked about, so I can even sell fireworks, and that's great. You know what? In the 47 years that I've been involved in farm journalism, these kinds of stories are the stories that I love to tell. And you know what? We're going to tell more right here from the Prairie Livestok Expo, brought to you by NetSet Communications, and we'll be back after these commercials.
At Super 8 Winnipeg West, we have your comfort in mind, with free Wi-Fi and free daily Superstart breakfast. We also have guest laundry facilities, a state-of-the-art fitness center, and a jetted hot tub. Sleep well in a spacious guest room equipped with plush new bedding, a 50-inch flat-screen HD TV, microwave, mini refrigerator, and Keurig coffee maker. Or book a suite with a kitchen, ideal for extended stays. Super 8 Winnipeg West, located just inside the perimeter on Portage Avenue.
Welcome back to episode 2 of the farm show from the Prairie Livestok Expo, brought to you by NetSet Communications. And today I'm visiting with a chairman, and having been involved in this business for some 47 years, I've talked to a few chairmen of various organizations, especially of the hog industry. And of course, this one is the Manitoba Pork Council. George Matheson, tell me, I think you're still a producer.
I am. My farm's at Stonewall, and been in production since 1982, so time is moving on.
So what happens to the farm when you're chairman of Manitoba Pork?
Well, I have a brother and a nephew, his son, who I farm with, and livestock, of course, is a 365-day job, and they will look after things when I'm away, so it's worked out well over the years.
So has been, being chairman of Manitoba Pork, is it what you thought it would be, or tell me?
Well, I would say for the most part, yes. I had been a director for 9 years prior to that. Carl Kynock was my predecessor as chair of the board, so I had a pretty good idea for the most part what went on. But until you actually sit in that chair, you don't know everything about being the chair of Manitoba Pork. So yeah, there's been a bit of learning as well, but the curve has been very gentle and very kind to me, let's say. So.
And working with the kind of staff you have, and especially I just finished talking earlier with Andrew Dixon, and of course he's been around forever and a day as far as the agricultural industry, but that helps. So what are some of the things that you see right now as the key challenges for the pork industry?
Well, biosecurity and the threat of hog diseases, North America and throughout the world is a challenge we constantly confront, and we have to keep our guard up. We've done a very good job, I feel, managing PED, which had been devastating to the North American hog population in 2014. The one on the horizon now is African swine fever, which could be even more serious, of course, being a foreign animal disease if it came into North America. So that biosecurity, as I mentioned, is very concerning. Also, the construction of new hog barns to make sure that our plants in Manitoba are as full to capacity as possible is another thing that we're trying to assist producers with. And public affairs is always ongoing to educate the public as far as nutritional value and sustainability of our industry, animal care, workplace health and safety. There are issues that we will always be dealing with, but new barns and biosecurity, the future of those are probably the ones we focus on with most importance for now.
I remember back when we used to build barns, and you'd come into these meetings and you would have confrontations, and things weren't fun. In fact, I believe some producers probably said, you know what, if that's what I have to go through, then I'm not going to even get involved. But you formed a corporation within Manitoba Pork, right, which I've seen it and I've written articles about it, that to me is really bang on.
Yeah, I think it's assisted producers who are interested in expanding a great deal. Permitting processing is still very complex, and also the conditional use hearing can be trying for a producer. So giving them the proper information, the proper preparation for these things has been of great assistance to them, and it's one of those things that the staff foresaw as a need that the producers of Manitoba would have, and they were right on, and it's been very, very valuable and will continue to be so for the next few years.
I think there were some questions at some meetings where, why did you do with that corporation what you did? I think it's part of Manitoba Pork, right?
Mm-hmm. The exact specifications of it, as an entity just outside of the jurisdiction of Manitoba Pork, I'm not quite sure of. I've left that to the staff, more specifically Andrew Dixon, our general manager, and our lawyers. But it needed to be a corporation financed by Manitoba Pork. But in the end, user fees applied, so that in the end it will be a zero-sum budget come year end.
That was the thing that struck me, that it's actually a user pay.
Yeah. And which is good, because not all producers, of course, are building new barns. It's a valuable service, but it's just one of those things where, hey, if you need it, it's there. It will cost, but at the same time, it will be of great value to you.
So, how long do you foresee yourself being as chairman of Manitoba Pork?
Well, I'm up for re-election every year. It's a one-year term. I'll be 62 in June. 65 seems to be the number when a lot of people retire, and right now that is my idea of when. That would bring me to 7 years as chair of Manitoba Pork, which I think would be plenty for myself and plenty for the board, and a change is always good. So, but as I said, I'm up for re-election every year, so you just never know.
Thank you very much. Today that was George Matheson, hog producer and also chair of the Manitoba Pork Council, and as I said at the outset of this, it's a real pleasure for me to visit with real producers that are actually running the affairs for other producers, and it takes a commitment. It takes a commitment on behalf of people like George in order to do so. So once again, it's great to be here at the Prairie Livestok Expo. We will be back. NetSet Communications is a sponsor of this segment, but we'll hear these commercials and we'll be back with more. Welcome back to the Farm Show, and we're coming to you from the Prairie Livestok Expo in Winnipeg at the Convention Center of the Victoria Inn. It's a one-day show, and as I talked to one person just a few minutes ago, he says, boy, this is a busy place. Yes, we have 140 exhibitors, and we've got all kinds of things going on, and the segment is brought to you by NetSet Communications, and right now, a very good friend of mine. We've worked together for quite a few years. Prairie Hog Country, the pork producing magazine across Western Canada to go to. And Laurie Brandly from Leduc, Alberta, comes to this show every year if possible. Laurie, welcome here.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
So, Prairie Hog Country, I remember it when it started. So tell me, how did it start?
Well, that's rewinding the clock. That would be back into 1996, which is, I guess, almost 23 years ago. And a lady that I used to work with on another publication, or at a local media, I guess, wanted to start something new. And she wanted to start something that was based and focused entirely on the hog industry, that would kind of be something similar to something that we had done together in the past for the dairy industry. So she gave me a call one day, and she said, hey, I want to launch this, and I need your help. And I guess the rest we could say is history. And yeah, like I said, I'm very proud to say that it's 23 years next year, and we still go to all the colonies and all the producers in Western Canada 6 times a year.
So, at one time, you were not the chief cook and bottle washer. You did become that.
Yes, I guess, yes, in the long way. Susan and I started it together, and then, yes, I did actually buy it outright from Susan in 2003, so now I get to, I guess, dot the I's and cross the T's and sign the checks.
So, I've been in the business a long time, and now you have been too. We've seen a lot of changes, and I've always marveled at how you've been able to go with the flow and with the changes, but hasn't always been easy, has it?
No, you're right, Harry. You're right. There definitely has been highs and lows over the industry and over the years. I mean, we've seen, those of us that have been around have seen the highest of highs and lowest of lows. And you do have to adapt. You do have to adapt. Being based on advertising revenue to cover production costs and salaries for writers like yourself, you do have to sometimes tweak things a little bit, because the first thing that sometimes does get cut when times are tough are the advertising budgets. So you have to make sure that you're still having a very good product that people want to get their information out there with. So yes, sometimes we've had to change things along the way, but we think it's working, because again, next year will be 23 years, so we're very proud of that.
So I know what the key focus is when I write for it, but what is it, in your words, the key focus of your publication?
My mini infomercial, I'd say, it's your direct connection to the Western Canadian hog industry, written with a grassroots style. Something that everybody can understand, everybody can comprehend, with information and news that's very important to them, very time sensitive, that's maybe not done in a format of all charts and graphs, that's maybe a little bit more interesting, a little bit more informative, interactive as much as a print media can be, but just, again, to try and keep them informed and interested in what's happening out there.
I know, and I get a chance to send in articles, and you don't print everything, but boy, you sure do a great job of printing as much as you possibly can, and I appreciate that. And you know, I told somebody just a few minutes ago, when we talked about Prairie Hog Country, I said, you know, when I write in the Prairie Hog Country, I always find out that people actually read the articles from end to end.
Yes, thank you, and that's one of the best compliments that we can have, is when people say that they do read it from cover to cover, and it is in all the barn offices. And I couldn't do this without a phenomenal writing team like yourself. Harry, you've been with me since day one in '96. There's some others that have been with me from day one. We've had some that have come and gone along the way, but it's we couldn't do it without you. It is very much a team effort, and it's we're only as good as the stories. So I do thank you as well.
Good. Thank you very much. That's Laurie Brandly, and what a privilege to be able to interview her on a show that we are doing. And yes, it's been a real good ride. I hope that ride continues. But this wraps up this particular segment and show at Prairie Livestock and Expo. And of course, the sponsor to this one is NetSet Communications. And we'll be back with segment 3 in a while.